What is up, everybody? You know, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies who help make this show possible. First is my friends over at Yellow Jacket. Guys, I've talked about their Titan Max digital manifold, the newest one. They won some awards with that, also with the YJack anemometer. But I also want to say a lot of people are going to be going into heating season soon. I know some of the West Coast, it's probably still hot, but heating season is approaching most of us, at least on the East Coast. And a lot of times people talk about combustion analysis. There is a range of combustion analyzers. I'm talking from, you go from a couple $100 to some that are several thousand. And I think that Yellow Jacket put themselves in the market with one. Now I gotta see if I can find it on here. They've put themselves in the market with one that I think is very reasonably priced for the features that you get. I have one of these that they're going to send to me. We're going to try to do something with it, make some videos, and then possibly give it away at some point. But it's going to be this combustion analyzer right here, the CA502 and the CA502P. The only difference is the P has the printer. But this, for the cost, I think has all the features that somebody needs, especially getting into it. If you're understanding, you don't know exactly what you're doing, this is easy. It correlates with an app. And it has all the features you need to properly do your combustion analysis. So anybody out there looking to get into it or get any other of the amazing Yellow Jacket products, go to your local supply house, or you can go to True Tech Tools that sells Yellow Jacket now, and you can use the discount code Uncensored to save 8% on your order. And remember, 75 years of expertise built into every tool. Next, this is going to be a new one. One of my friends, Zach, who has been on the show, local HQ, local marketing. Guys, marketing, you guys have seen some of the disaster podcasts that I've had when it comes to marketing. And marketing is such a vast array of things. It covers so much stuff. And one thing I love about what Zach does is he gives the companies that he works for a weekly report card, and he tells you exactly what he's done, your click-through rate, the customers that you've got, so you know exactly where your money's going. I feel like there's too many companies out there that you pay all this money and you don't know what's going on. And when you ask, hey, how did we do this week? Or how did we do this month? You get some generic answer and you feel like you're being robbed. And I love that Zach does this, and him and his team over at Local, they give you a weekly report card that is going to tell you exactly where your money is going. So anybody out there looking for SEO, paid ads, Google business profile optimization, website design, and more, go to www.localhq. It's going to be LOKALHQ.com, and let them know that HVAC Uncensored sent you. All right, let's get on to the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KB Jr.
Might want to turn the mic on. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I am your host, Gil KB Jr. Here we are, another show, another Wednesday, another hump night. An amazing show for you guys tonight. Real fast, I want to thank all of you for being here. I'm not going to drag into it. It's been a rough last couple of weeks, man. You guys know what's going on with my mom and the issues with my wife. Well, my wife's issues have come back up, And we've been dealing with those again. So I'm not going to get stuck in some dramatic thing. Poor me. Everybody's got shit going on. We're dealing with it. We're fine. And a lot of good things happening. But I've had to deal with a few things the last 2 weeks. So I apologize with missing some shows. And also with the podcast release being a little off. So thank you guys for bearing with me. I appreciate you guys for being here. But we do have an amazing show tonight. You guys know that I always talk about online schooling and training and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of bad ones out there. There's a lot of good ones. Well, I love what our guest and they are doing tonight. So without further ado, please help me welcome the founder and CEO of SkillCat, Mr. Ruchir.
That's great. Yeah. No, you were great. That was perfect.
Cool. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm super excited. Already watching this comments chat. I've heard great things.
Yeah, they go crazy, but I have a lot of amazing people in here. Like that's one thing that's awesome about these shows is you build a community, and we have a lot of the same names that are in here that I can count on being here every Wednesday, and you build a friendship with these people. So it is truly amazing. But I guess we'll start off. Let everybody know a little bit about who you are and SkillCat.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm Ruchir, founder and CEO of SkillCat. We're a training platform for the skilled trades. Basically, the goal is how do we dramatically reduce the barriers to entry for new folks who want to get into the trades. And so we have about 1,500 hours of online training, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, appliance repair, and we've trained about 300,000 students. So our vision basically, how do you make it really easy for anyone to get into the skilled trades? And I can talk a little bit about my background as well. So
yeah, please do. Go ahead.
So yeah, I didn't initially grow up in the trades. I actually in college I did policy research on the BP oil spill, and training was one of the biggest issues that caused the spill. And so I built out a business out of college, building online courses and simulations to train oil and gas workers. And then, so I grew that quite a bit, then went to business school. And when I came out, it was COVID and everyone in oil and gas was getting laid off. And so you had all of these amazing people with, years of mechanical and electrical skills going to work at grocery stores because they didn't know what other industries could use their skills. And so we started SkillCat with that goal in mind is, hey, how do you help people transition and reskill up for all of these incredible jobs that have a huge shortage? And a lot of people, especially mid-career, can't afford going to a full-time trade school, can't afford, the money, can't afford the time off. And so we're just trying to make everything a lot more accessible and easy for folks to get into HVAC and all the trades.
Yeah, I love that. And you're so right, because we have such a shortage. The older generation is retiring off faster than people are coming into it. And you can make such a great living in the trades. Obviously, we talk about HVAC because that's our bread and butter, most of us. But, and then the other thing is there's, and I hate to be doom and gloom, but there's some trade schools that are amazing. And there's a lot of them that are subpar and not good. So, the people that do say, hey, I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna go to this trade school. They don't get what they pay for, and then they're kind of SOL because, man, now I just spent 20 grand on this school when I still don't know anything. So having platforms like yours that is actually teaching them real world knowledge, getting them certified, getting them all their certification stuff they need, whether it's EPA stuff like that. So they're on the job, they're ready. So when potential employers look at that, they know that they were trained on stuff that's going to be useful. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. No, that's exactly the goal. We're $10 a month, right? So $10 a month, you get access to all of this content, get certified, get trained, learn as much as you want. And hey, if you have a great trade school near you, a lot of folks go to trade school while going through our program, or go to our program and then go to a trade school. But then a lot of folks who can't afford to do that just leverage our program to then actually get a job at a company, and then go through our training as an apprenticeship while they're actually working. So really just helping support all different sorts of people who want to work in HVAC and in the trades.
That's sweet. And what are some of the different trades that you guys do?
So we started in HVAC. So, our roots are all in HVAC. We've added on plumbing, electrical, appliance repair, and then we work with a lot of multifamily maintenance. So maintenance technicians that work in apartment complexes and kind of have to know a little bit of everything. And so, yeah, those are kind of the 4 or 5 areas that we work in.
How do you simulate using a plunger online? I'm just kidding. So we respect plumbers. Just because we talk crap back and forth, we respect them. So I had to take that jab. No, man, I really love that. So how long have you guys been out, and how have you seen the growth since you started?
Yeah, absolutely. So a little over 3 years now. So we actually got started. The initial vision was, hey, we're going to make training completely free for everyone. And then the companies will pay us to hire from the platform. So we'd compete with folks like Indeed and have this really great free training resource. That was hard. Indeed is a tough company to compete with. And so about a year ago, we made this really tough decision. Hey, we're going to actually start charging. But our vision and our goal is, hey, how do we keep costs as low as possible? Right. And so right now we're $10 a month. You can get your EPA 608 for $10 all online. And it's super easy. We have a 3-day free trial. You have people who come in and actually get their EPA in that 3-day free trial. And we don't make any money from that. But our goal is, hey, how do you get people, they start with the EPA, they might go through other training and, keep learning and keep growing. And yeah, our vision is the more people we get on the platform, the easier it is for us to keep our prices low while helping a lot of people. And so we're not free anymore. And it was a really tough decision to do that. But our goal is to keep costs as low as possible forever.
Well, and I love that you said that, because just so people out there realize, obviously they're trying to do a good thing. And by charging, some people are like, oh my God, they used to be free. And not really you guys, but I've seen it with some other ones. It's just, but you guys can't lose money. You're in business. You're trying to perform a good deed. And the fact that it's $10 a month is still amazing, so you're trying to go by helping a bunch of people to be able to keep the price down. So I think that's awesome. But I understand that business side of it when you have to do that, and when sometimes a plan doesn't work out and you have to readjust. I mean, we've all done that in life, no matter what it is.
Yeah, no, exactly. That was just one of the toughest decisions for us. But last year we were running out of money. We had to do some layoffs, because we were trying to do this free model. We started charging even that small monthly fee, and now we're pretty much profitable. We're growing. We were able to rehire some of the people we laid off last year. And so, yeah, the goal is just how do we get the word out there now and get, hundreds of thousands of people more on the platform, valuing it, leveraging it, so we can keep the cost super low and keep adding more and more content. We're trying to add every single certification, licensing courses for every state. We want to add pretty much everything we can to the platform and make it really, really accessible for everyone.
That's awesome you said that, because I was actually thinking about that when you were talking before about, the licensing prep. Because I've had some people reach out to me and they're like, hey, I want to go get my journeyman's license, or hey, I want to take my master's license. And sometimes the preparation for that is tough. And me, I mean, I've been in the trade forever. I hold a master's license, but it took me 4 times to pass that test. I'll fix anything, but I'm not a good test taker. And just so people realize, there's no technical questions on there. It's all code enforcement and stuff like that. Yeah. So a lot of times repetition, but somebody being able to learn in an easy manner, not just reading a book, is a little bit better. So I love the fact that you said that. That's awesome. Are you going to provide any training or any of the certifications on the new refrigerants?
Yeah. So we have a bunch of that training as part of our EPA course. And then we're in the process of building out a couple new. The EPA hasn't officially, sent out any training requirements yet. We talked to them quite a bit about it. So we're going to start launching some stuff and we have a course that's coming out that'll, explain the fundamentals of A2Ls and how they're different from more traditional refrigerants. And, but once we're waiting for that EPA green light to really push out something that's like a new certification that's, EPA accredited. So
yeah, no, that's cool. It's funny. And I always tell people, I've said it a million times, until I started this podcast, I didn't realize that there's only 18 out of 50 states that require state licensing, or at least there was. And when I realized that, I was like, oh man, that's crazy. So
yeah, this is where it's a huge project to get licensing, training, CEUs, everything for all the different states. Because every state has different regulations, different ways of doing it. Some states don't have licensing, but they have gas licenses that cover a lot of those fundamentals. And so, our goal is to cover everything eventually. And so that's what we're working really hard on. We're tripling our content team and really going all out on this.
Yeah, well, New York is pretty good about. Well, I don't want to say good, but they're pretty strict or stringent on licensing, aren't they? One of the more stricter states.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I actually love the way Canada does it. I really wish that there was like how they have the red seal and stuff. I wish it was more of like a national thing. I think it would be easier to mandate, and I think it would help lift the industry up. I think, Pennsylvania, which is, kind of in between us, there is no licensing. And sadly, I have some family members and friends that I know that these people don't know what they're doing. So, sadly, they're out there running a business in Pennsylvania, and it's kind of hard to kind of set that standard when there's no regulation on it. So that's pretty awesome.
This is something we want to kind of work to over time is, can you create more incremental standards in between, hey, your EPA and your 4-year journeyman's license? Like, can you find better ways to level up at different places in between? Like, and get accreditation for things like, can you use a mini split correctly? And can you troubleshoot and service, a heat pump correctly, and get certifications around those things as well? So, a lot of plans on the horizon for us in that area.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So how many people are using the platform, you said, as of right now? Or, I mean, just a guesstimate. I don't expect you to know.
Yes, we've trained about 300,000 people. So we became really popular because we were free for a while, and now we're still so much lower cost than anyone else there. It's easy to use and all word of mouth. And so just folks finding out about us either through Google or people sharing. The goal is to get millions of people on this platform in every trade and help folks adapt as the industry changes. So, yeah.
Well, one thing I got to give credit, because how I found out from you was from our friend Jennifer Manzo. She is, when I heard about it and all the stuff she does, I mean, I feel like I'm a busy person until you hear all the stuff Jennifer does. Then I feel like a slacker. So, so that's what I found out.
Yeah. No, she's great. She was actually one of our first students. So I gave her a call. She was one of our first students that built out the platform. She just signed up, found out about it somehow, and she went through and got certified in a whole bunch of courses. And I called her and she was like, I love this. And it's kind of been history ever since. So she's been a really incredible support system for everyone at SkillCat and has helped really get out the word.
She definitely has. And she does an awesome job with all the stuff that she does. So as far as building your different things, I was looking through the website. So do you have like some different instructors and stuff that work with you? Is it kind of like a balance of like the computer programmers and then like the technician teacher kind of balance?
Yeah. So we have like computer programmers who like make the app work and make everything easy to access and use. And then we have a big content team. So we have a whole bunch of animators, artists, instructional designers who are like teachers. And then they work together with subject matter experts. So we have a whole team of subject matter experts with years of experience in the trades who review all of our content and give feedback and, make sure we're creating all of the right stuff. So it's that combination where you have really great teachers and really great graphics people working together with folks with years of experience in the field.
That's awesome, man. I love that. So one thing I don't know about the app is your community able to interact? Is there a way for them to be able to interact with each other?
Not really yet. So I think that there are some forums and a couple of things in the app, but we haven't focused as much on that. We're hoping to add that on, but we don't want to be just another social network. We're going to find ways to maybe creatively bring value. So we've thought about maybe having cohorts where people, you go to ACA or one of these conferences and they have like service manager cohorts or owner cohorts, but you never see technician cohorts. So like if many different technicians were all veterans, who are getting into the trade for the first time, you can connect them together, or a bunch of women in the trades or minority. You can find ways to connect different groups together based on their, challenges and experiences getting into the trades. So that's one of the ideas we have. Nothing yet, but I think it sounds like you built an incredible community here. So I think you probably have a lot of ideas for us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and building the community is awesome. Just finding like-minded people going through the same things, to be able to bounce things off of. Because although the blue collar trades are very rewarding, and you can make good money, it's not easy in the beginning. It is something that requires physical labor, and you got to be out in the elements. And that's why I like to have the you know uh, I talk about the addiction podcast. It's something I beat back in my life that I try to be very honest about because it's rampant through the industry, whether it's mental health and people that get through divorces and stuff like that. So I think building that community just makes us stronger, having like-minded people to talk about things. And I know some of my best friends in the world now are people that I've met from the internet, from this podcast, that don't live in my state, but I talk to on a daily, weekly basis. So I've seen
That's
how
amazing.
powerful it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been kind of blown away by the community I've seen in HVAC. Like, if you look at a lot of office jobs and like the tech world, people are very unhappy. There's a lot of depression. Everyone works from home. Like there's so many issues. And if you look at the statistics, people are actually, it's really tough working in the trades. But in some ways, like at least you're outdoors, you're working with a lot of other people. You have a community, you're helping people every day. Like job satisfaction is so much higher in the trades. And nobody talks about this. Like everyone assumes, people must be happier in an office job. And I've heard people have this mindset. And they're just so wrong, right? And so I think it's incredible what you're doing and bringing all these people together, because I wish there was more of that in the tech world as well. And I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm grateful and definitely blessed for this whole thing that created. And I never thought it would turn into what it is when I started it. I'd be lying if I said that I thought it would turn into this. And I know that just from the aspect is I started out as at the bottom as a in the trade, working up as a tech, and then worked my way up through management to become a general manager and be in the management field, training, stuff like that. I just recently, a friend of mine that's actually in here, my buddy Zeke, I did training over the summer for two of his young guys, and it was amazing. And now those guys texted me and they're killing it, and they're like, dude, I had a record day. Like it feels awesome. Like you love to give back to that. And the fact that we're creating that again, because I think for a little while there, people were afraid to help somebody else, thinking that person was going to take their job. Like they had to hoard their knowledge. And that's just not the case. We have a shortage. And I love the sentiment that I heard somebody else say. They said that every time one of those older guys retired off, it was like a library burning down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it doesn't.
Yeah. No, and now this is happening right in every trade, right? So HVAC is our bread and butter, but we've noticed in every skilled trade, like the average age of folks is like 60, some industries in 70s, and these folks are going to retire and they've had years of experience, and a lot of companies don't have great apprenticeship programs anymore. And so finding a way to capture all of that knowledge and then transfer it to that next generation is one of the biggest jobs that SkillCat has, and just like anyone doing training and trying to educate folks in the space. Because a lot of young people want to learn, right? I think just there's not the same infrastructure that a lot of folks had with structured apprenticeships and learning. A lot of that doesn't exist anymore. And so we, as an industry, we have to kind of look at bringing that back, right? Because there's no choice. We have to bring more people, and you can't just hire experienced techs forever. And it's getting harder every year to do that.
Yeah, like VOTech schools now are almost nothing. I know the VOTech school around me is nothing like it was when I was younger. It's a shell in itself. And then the other thing is for businesses to be able to, the hiring people, like you just stated, that it's everybody's searching for that unicorn that you can't find. And now there's a lot of amazing young people out there, men and women, who don't necessarily want to go to college, but they don't know what they want to do. And we can provide them an avenue to make a good living relatively quickly. The last company I was with, I had guys under 25 making over $100,000 a year. We had to give them financial lessons because they're like, "Hey, I make more than my parents do."
Yeah,
So, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, using something like you guys as a tool to bring people in and work them up, train them, and you're building your own workforce. So I don't want to hear the excuse I can't find good people, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I love that there's folks making 120K. One of my hobbies on LinkedIn these days has been trolling all of my friends in tech and being like, hey, like, honestly, like, college is a much worse choice than going to the trades. Like, the default should be go to the trades. And if you really, really want to study more, go to college. Because you don't have any debt, you get right in there, you make a crazy amount of money, your job is in more demand, you're less likely to be automated by AI than, your friend who went into marketing or computer science. Those jobs are going to go first. So like in every way, it just makes a lot of sense to go into the trades instead. And so I think just more people need to realize it.
Yeah. And another aspect, so obviously you guys do amazing with the platform as far as training and getting people the knowledge and certifications, but you also have a platform as far as like linking them up with potential employers, correct?
We don't do as much of that anymore. So we started that way. Okay. We have a couple partners we work with. So like we have a couple partners that have good job platforms that we send people to. And then right now we're in partnership conversations with both Indeed and Thumbtack, which is basically to create like, hey, if someone comes accredited through a couple certifications through SkillCat, they'll get access to certain jobs and they'll get access to certain side gigs that other folks might not get access to. So how do you like make it easier for homeowners and for companies to make decisions about who to hire? So it's a little bit different. We're still figuring out exactly where we fit on the job side. That's where we started, but it's tough to build a full business on that. And so it's like, I think we're going to work through partners to accomplish a lot of that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's definitely something that has to evolve. But I think what you guys are doing with the training is amazing. Is there anything so obviously I won't hold you to this, but where do you see this like in the future? Like where do you see this going? Like as far as you would like to take it in the future? Like if you could just snap your fingers and have it, what is your vision for it?
Yeah, so our dream would be to have millions of technicians on the platform and supporting folks, not just, hey, we help you get into the trades, but we help you throughout your entire career, right? And so I think one of the places, you hear a lot of back and forth about unions. I think one of the things that unions have historically done well is bring new people into the trades and then give them a clear, structured career path to growth in the industry, right? They help them figure out like, hey, here are the skills you need. Here's an apprenticeship. Here's how you move from this pay to this pay to this pay to this pay. And for the vast majority of workers today who don't have access to union jobs, you don't have that. And as industries keep changing and, AI, automation, it's going to keep adapting the role of a technician, right? You used to be able to stay in the same company, for your whole life. And then more recently, you can't really stay in the same industry either. Your job's constantly changing. And so our vision is having millions of people on the platform where throughout your entire life as a technician in the trades, we support and guide and help you achieve your career goals. So yeah, that's the vision that we have.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I totally agree that you can never stop learning in the trades because it is constantly evolving and you have to always be learning. I don't care that I've been in the trade 23 years. I am still trying to learn new things and there's new technologies coming out and you have to stay up to date. And I feel like I always tell younger guys when I tell them a story, I say, hey, don't be one of those guys or girls. Don't be one of those technicians. Sorry, ladies, that learns just enough to be dangerous and then kind of stops because all they do is they handicap themselves and they end up, hurting themselves in the long run. So I think it would be awesome, eventually like how manufacturers have training to be able to have that kind of stuff on here. To you guys be like the one-stop shop to be able to, hey, I'm getting sick of this Linux kicking my ass, man. I want to go and do some Linux training. Oh, I'm going to go to SkillCat. Oh, they got a whole catalog of training. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be awesome. I know it's a long way and being able to, have everybody play nice with each other. I get how it is. Manufacturers want to hoard stuff and not give it to people. But when I dream, I feel like something like that would be awesome to have that one place. Because I remember when I first started going to YouTube, I was just trying to better myself. Like I would take online courses and read books, and I got sick of going up on units and not knowing. And I was like, I'm going to try to learn as much as possible so that I don't have to, go up and be scratching my head. So I wish there was something like SkillCat when I first got into the trade. It would have saved me some time and money as far as not having to look for all these different places to do stuff.
Yeah, no, that's the idea. And then we're starting conversations with a lot of these manufacturers as well. So I think first goal was, hey, how do you help create a great product that gets people into the industry? And now we're like, hey, how do we continue supporting folks throughout their career and as they're actually working in the field? And so some pretty cool news coming on that front pretty soon. So.
Oh, nice. Cool. So, and you guys are online, like actually a computer and then a phone app as well, correct?
Yeah. So we started on a computer. So like when Jennifer took us we were on a computer, and then we realized most technicians are out and about in the field all day. Right. And so if you want to make something truly useful for folks, it almost has to be on your phone, and it has to be like micro learning, like 5-10 minute module that you can go through, at lunch, like in your car, like make it as easy and accessible as possible. And so we have both, but the vast majority of people end up going through everything on their phone.
Nice. Are you guys going to start getting out to some of these events? I think it would be awesome to see you guys at like AHR or something like that, just to get out and mingle.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be at Service World next month. I believe you there. I don't know if you'll be.
No, I used to go to it. I haven't been to Service World in a couple of years. I should go though. I'm an ass.
We'll be Service World. AHR will also be at the symposium. So I think we're pretty excited. Hopefully we'll see you at a few of those. So
yeah, I'm definitely at AHR. I'm there every year, and I'm going to go to symposium this year. So 2 out of the 3.
Awesome. Perfect. That sounds great. And you're going to visit New York. Yeah. I got to show you around New York City. So
yeah. Hey, and I told him normally everybody comes on here and they're from California or Arizona or some West Coast place. So when he came on and said he was from New York, I was like, East Coast. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Come on by.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm sorry. Anybody, if you have questions in the chat, put them in all caps to make sure I can see them. Sorry, the way the screen's set up tonight, I'm looking at the guests, so I'm looking this way. So I'm missing some of these. But if you put them in all caps, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will ask those questions for you. Don't see anything yet. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. It's good to see you too, Jessica. Yeah. Sorry. Make sure I wasn't missing anything. These people, sorry. I told you they get a little crazy in the comments sometimes.
Yeah.
This is awesome that you like I said, I love giving back to the industry, and I love the training and the technical part, because I found that, and this is something else that I've said a million times, but I love this statement. It says, you don't really know something till you have to teach somebody else. So I even love using something like this to help train the younger generation, but even going over it myself, because it helps tighten things up. It helps you all of a sudden. Now you know something a little bit better than you knew it before, because now you have to explain that to somebody else. So I would say to people out there, even if some of these topics you feel like you're pretty strong on, do it anyway. For $10 a month, you're investing in yourself. And even if you go through and ace everything, you're still just freshening up on stuff like that. I mean, I think that I want to do it just to go through and just, hey, do I really know this as well as I think I do?
Mm-hmm. We actually get a surprising number of folks with like years of experience in the field come in for exactly that reason. They want to go through and like, they just kind of like, see everything and like refresh things, see how things are taught. And then we get some great feedback actually from that as well. So there's one thing about the HVAC industry is people are not shy with sharing their feedback. So we'll get a lot of feedback all the time, and it's great. Like I think like one thing I always point to is when we first released our app for like Android, we were 2 stars. So like we got a bunch of negative reviews, or registration wasn't working, like the courses were hard to access. And now we have almost 4,000 reviews. We're 5 stars on the Play Store and like 4.9 stars on the App Store. It rounds up to 5. So we were able to bring that up because people were so brutal with their feedback. Aggressive on Reddit, aggressive on their reviews, aggressive in emails, and that actually helped us. And so I think that's one of the great things about the industry is people are actually really honest with what they think. And so if someone likes something, they'll tell everyone and they'll really promote it. If they don't like something, they will let you know. And it probably wasn't always the easiest for us to hear that feedback, but it's actually helped make the product so much better. So.
Yeah, sadly, us techs are kind of loudmouths. I have one of the larger Facebook groups that I don't even go into sometimes because they're a little testy. So you gotta be careful. But they just bust each other's balls. But you got to be careful sometimes when you say things in there. I also saw, I forgot to bring this up. I see about the different EPA and stuff like that. But you guys are also providing NATE certifications as well. And a lot of people don't realize, I know like Carrier, the manufacturer Carrier, you have to have an employee that has all their NATE certifications in order to be a factory authorized dealer. So I know some people have fell off when it's come to NATE, but it's still a good thing to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think like we're trying to make it a lot easier for folks to get those NATE certifications as you need them. So.
Yeah. And I see that another thing that some people may not think is a big deal, that you offer this stuff in English and in Spanish.
Yeah. So everything is in English and Spanish. And I mean, honestly, that's one of the gaps that we've seen is there's a lot of folks who speak Spanish and Hispanic construction workers at lower levels of construction, but those numbers dip down when you get into the skilled trades. And a lot of that is because I think some folks don't necessarily speak English. And so we've tried to make that as easy as possible to get training in whatever language you want. And we get a ton of folks who take all the courses in Spanish as well. Nice. And then EPA 608, also all the exam, everything is offered in Spanish as well. So we have full Spanish questions.
Yeah, I was scrolling through it and I see all of that. And I know that's huge nowadays because there's a lot of Spanish people. That's their first language. And it just, not that they can't speak English, but it's easier for them to learn in their, language that they know better than English. So it just makes it easier. I actually talked to somebody through email one time and he said, he's like, yeah, I speak English, but if I was to learn something, I would learn it better if I was to learn it in Spanish versus English. So that makes a big sense. Sorry, people are busting my balls because I told them to ask questions. Mr. HVAC Rookie says, how long do these programs take? For the $10, can you access everything?
Yeah, you can access everything. So we have about 500 hours or so of courses that we've created in-house, and that's included in the $10. We have another around 1,000 hours of content. If you know, like hvacredu.net, they have a huge amount of commercial content that we put on the platform. And then we also work with, we took Next Tech Academy, and we put that on the platform as well. And so some of that content is an extra fee. But we have 500 hours of incredible content that's all accessible for $10 a month. So that includes EPA, that includes NATE, that includes like a ton of a whole trade school diploma you can get. And all of our courses are accredited through ISET. So you can get kind of an accredited trade school diploma and CEUs all through the app. How long the course is? It varies. All right, so some of the shorter courses are like a couple hours long. The EPA is like 20, 30 hours. And so it really varies based on the course. We set up everything inside of sort of like learning plans that are split up into courses and then like topics. So you can go through a topic in 5 to 10 minutes and then courses get built from that and upwards. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I see that you have some different like troubleshooting guides, calculators, checklists, and stuff like that. A bunch of different things. I see on here the troubleshooting guide, for the appliance people, appliance manuals, a pool checklist, for different avenues, error lookup. I actually need that because I'm trying to fix my washing machine. But yeah, some of those things are good to have, and it's also good that it keeps people in the app. They don't have to go somewhere else to do those said things. So I really like that.
Basically, yeah, the idea there was like, hey, we have a lot of training, and sometimes folks will go through all the training, but if you're more experienced or you're actually in the field and you need help, what can we provide that actually helps you there? And so we have some basic troubleshooting guides that walk you through step by step of how to solve different sorts of HVAC issues that you might see as like a reference. We have a bunch of manuals and error codes in there that you can review and look at stuff. And so that's still a little bit new, but the idea is basically how do you support folks in the field as well, not just through training.
Nice. Let me see. We got another one that says, when you say commercial, Jason, is that question for here, or are you talking to each other? Because it's in all caps. Because he said, when you say commercial, are you talking just basic RTU or more advanced equipment?
No, we have stuff on chillers. We have quite a bit of more advanced stuff as well. Take a look. Check out our catalog and see what else you want. Like, we're always trying to add more stuff in there. We ourselves have a bunch of courses on a bunch of more advanced equipment, and then we're in the process of adding a whole lot of new curriculum. So check it out. Yeah, let me know what you think and what else you want on there. So we're always building new content.
Yeah, guys, just so you know, as he's been talking, I've been scrolling through, and I knew there was a lot on here, but there's a lot more than I thought was on here, to be quite frank. So I highly suggest that, everybody take a look at it. So they have all the fundamental stuff, the intro to HVAC, refrigeration theory, down to heating theory, heating systems, basic electrical systems and controls. And they go down into, the EPA certification, residential HVAC systems, commercial, the science fundamentals, mechanical skills, electrical skills. Like I'm just going to keep going. So there's a bunch of different categories, and all of them have courses in there. So I highly suggest that, everybody that's interested, go take a look at it. Rookie and a bunch of them have put the link in here that you can click on. It's going to be www.skillcatapp.com. Click on that after the show is done and go to it. And I highly suggest that you check it out, because it is, it's pretty sweet. So somebody asked supermarket. So supermarket would be refrigeration.
Yeah, we have some on commercial refrigeration. Probably not as much as we definitely not as much as we'd like. But we have a couple courses on commercial refrigeration, walk-in freezers. So.
Cool. Well, I'm just going to say this, and especially for the audio when it goes out. Most of these episodes are getting 100,000 plus downloads per episode. So I expect to get a message from Ruchir saying that he got 100,000 more people signed up to his free trial in like a week from now. All right. You guys better all go sign up for the free trial, and it's $10 a month. Okay. Don't be a bunch of cheap asses. Invest in yourself. Let's see. Somebody says, do you get to talk to a person if you need help?
Yeah. So our team, we have a bunch of instructors who kind of help out as needed. And so, yes, if you have any questions, you can send an email or call in. We also, so like Jennifer is actually a great resource as an instructor for a lot of students on the platform. So yes, it's people ask for help a lot less than you would think. I think because people sometimes feel intimidated to call or email in an online platform. We make resources available. It's a good question. I'm not sure if you have any ideas, Gil, on how to get people to ask more questions when they have them online. Like I think in a classroom, or if you're working with someone one-on-one, it's a little bit easier to get up the courage to ask something than sometimes digitally. So we make the resources available, but not many people actually ask. So.
Yeah, I guess that's where, to me, where the community comes in, or at least a place to ask questions, like a direct link or something like that. But I guess it gets tough. But to answer Mr. Jason Johnson's question, he says, what does your chiller course entail? I work on chillers. You really need factory training to be proficient at it. No offense intended. And you're exactly right, Jason, but learning the basics of some of those. So I have it pulled up, and they have complete chiller systems. There's a bunch of different subcategories. It would be easier for you just to go to their link and check it out. But I think, especially something like that, this is to provide you the basic knowledge to get into chillers. It's because I agree. A lot of those things, you're working on one-of-ones, and you have to learn from the people who built it, but this is going to give you that core knowledge to be able to build off. I always tell young people that I teach, I want them to master the basics. If you can master the fundamentals, then you can build on top of it. But I feel like a lot of people, they brush through the refrigeration theory and the basic stuff. And then when they try to go into more advanced things, they're just setting themselves up to fail and the house crumbles because they didn't master the basics.
Yeah, no, totally agreed. So it's definitely on the more basic end. I think for the next phase of SkillCat, we're looking at building on that more advanced training. And so, yeah, Jason, I'm curious what you think. Send me an email on our chiller courses and like what we have out there right now. Like, does it bring any value? Like, where are some of the areas you think we can grow that in? And so, and we are talking to some of the manufacturers to try to eventually get that on as well.
Yeah, Jason, you should definitely email, and I can, if you text me, Jason, I'll give you Ruchir's email because I know that's what you do, man. So definitely let him know so that you can. Jason's a friend of mine, so he's one of my moderators because that's his market where he is. But I see a lot of good courses on here for that. Seasonal overhauls for chillers, installing chiller system routine maintenance, chiller system startup. There's a whole bunch of them in here. So they're pretty in depth. I would say it's even a little bit more than some of the basics as far as some of the things they have in there. And even some of you out there, if you don't necessarily work on commercial stuff or work on chillers, it's still good knowledge to have. It makes you more valuable. You know what I mean? Like the more you know, the more you can touch, the more you can put your hands on. That's what makes you more valuable, especially as somebody who's been a tech and worked my way up to running a company. When a guy comes to me and says, "Hey, Gil, man, I really want to make X," and I see that person has done nothing throughout the year to make themselves better, I get cost of living raises, but sometimes it's hard to give those people that. It's like, okay, well, if you can do this, and this in 6 months, I'll give you X. You have to constantly keep making yourself better. That way you can go in there and demand that money, demand that raise versus going there to beg for it because you didn't do anything for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm an open book. So if you guys have any questions or feedback or anything, my email, I feel free to share it with everyone. I can just put it in the, I don't know if I can put in this comments, but just Ruchir, Ruchir at skillcatapp.com. And so we'd love to hear from anyone for any of these things. So
yeah, here I will put it in there for you now. Ooh, maybe if I'm typing in the right box. I think I spelled that right. I'm a horrible speller.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Somebody else said, somebody said ice machine, that's another one. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of avenues. So that's why, not many CEOs of a company are going to put out their email publicly on a podcast and say, email me. So if there's something you would like to see that's not there, then please email. He just, said to give out his email, but I would go check it out first. Like I said, it's free. I didn't even apply for the free trial yet. I'm literally just looking through it and I can see all these different things. And there is way more there than I originally thought. So I highly suggest that all of you actually go do that, look at it, get your free trial and dig into it because it's only going to help make you better. Nobody knows everything. And like I said, even if it's a touch-up course, it's only going to help you. So, man, sadly, we're at that hour. I told you it goes by fast. So let me see. Somebody else asked a question. I'm sorry, Sam. Let me make sure I don't miss your question.
I see the 609 question too. Someone's asking about EPA 609 for automotive AC. We have the course completely done. We're just waiting on the EPA to approve it. So we're definitely going to be offering it. It's done. It's ready. It's the same process as EPA 608. We're just working with the EPA. I think they just have a lot going on. So it should be out soon. I don't have an exact date, but it definitely will be offered in the near future since the course is already done.
Nice. So we talked about this, Sam. He said you still have partnerships with employers that take resumes and interviews. So he actually covered this earlier. I don't know if you want to answer it again.
Oh yeah. So we have a couple of partners that we work with that help with the recruiting side, but we've we don't actively send out like resumes and do all of that anymore. We have some partnerships in the wings with Indeed and with Thumbtack that are coming out over the next 6 months to a year or so. So stay tuned on this. So we've evolved a little bit on that side.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd have to say, for being around for 3 years and all the stuff that you have is pretty amazing, and especially the accredit and approved by, the EPA, OSHA, NATE, Department of Labor. What is that one? The IACET.
Yeah, so that's a group that basically accredits our trade schools so that we can offer CEUs and official CEUs through those. I said.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to. I told you I butcher things, so
it may not even be pronounced that way, but
yeah, it sounded good. I won't say anything.
Yeah.
No. So, Ruchir, I want to thank you so much for coming on, man. And I think that it's amazing what you're doing, providing this platform, and especially the fact that you've only been around for 3 years and you have all of this amazing information on there. I can't wait to see where this is a year from now. And if I help promote you guys in any way, I love what you guys are doing. Especially some of the new things that I have going on is going to be involved in training. So if I can help utilize this, when it comes to training, I will 100% do this because I love having this stuff at people's fingerprints, or fingertips. I'm sorry, not fingerprints. I say at the end of every show, nowadays, there's no reason to say you don't know something because everything is at the stroke of a key on a keyboard. So if somebody really wants to get better, this is just another resource, another avenue for them to be able to go get set answers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And we're just getting started. I think the next 6 months, the next year, we have so much planned. I think we're just getting started. So thanks everyone for all of the support, and thanks a lot, Gil, for all your support as well.
Yeah, of course. And obviously as new things come out, if you want to come back on, please feel free to, we'll get in touch, and please come back on and we can talk to everybody about what you guys have going on, what you've added. And I'll email and stay in touch because I will come to New York, and I do look forward to seeing you at some of these shows. So vacation for me I'm not going to turn that down. So don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Thank you again so much for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and close this out real fast.
Sounds good.
Well, guys, I've been looking forward to this, man. You guys know how I feel about when it comes to training, and I love this. I love what they're doing and the way that they apply it. A lot of our friend, HVAC Jennifer. A lot of the stuff what she does with her program, she uses SkillCat, which I think is absolutely amazing how she does it. Getting all these people out there the resources that they need. I love that. I love seeing our trade grow. I love seeing people better themselves. I love it. And I don't even know what else to say. I love that. I love seeing people better themselves in the trade and have those avenues that make it easy to be able to do. People switching from one job to another. Maybe they didn't get proper training in the beginning and now they're in a shitty spot. They work for a company that they weren't properly trained, but they were like, hey, here's a truck. Get out there and fucking do your calls. They have an avenue to get out of that and to be able to better themselves. And it's powerful. It really is. I love it. And I love what SkillCat's doing. I highly suggest everybody out there go to www.skillcatapp. So skillcatapp.com and do your free trial. Go check out the stuff. If you don't have your EPA license, go get your EPA license. I would say, like you said, people they get their EPA license through the free trial, but I highly suggest invest in yourself, pay the $10 a month, and just make yourself better. All right. So please go do that. I want to thank Mr. Ruchir for coming on, and thank you for what he does with SkillCat. It's absolutely fucking amazing. But with that being said, we got to close this thing out. Thank you everybody for coming here tonight, man. I really, really appreciate you guys. Remember to follow the podcast and all the social media apps. I will be back on there. Like I said, the last 2 weeks I've kind of been down, going through some things, and just trying to, some appointments for my wife and stuff like that, just trying to get some things knocked out. So thank you to everybody that's emailed me or messaged me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate when people email me or text me when like a show doesn't come out or something like that. That's what makes this community so powerful. And I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Yeah. With that being said, guys, remember, I had a brain fart there for a second. Hold on. What did somebody say? Yeah. I am Rookie. Yeah, keep your head on the swivel, guys. Remember, be careful out there. We all have somebody to make it home to. I don't care if you're driving. Make sure the breaker's turned off. Whatever it is, I want each and every one of you to make it home the same way that you left. Remember to do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. All right? Be the best version of you. Go to this course. Make yourself better. If you see somebody else you work with that needs something like this, let them know about it. Just give a shit about other people. That person that's always on time. And all of a sudden you notice for the last week they've been late. Say, hey, what's up? Is everything okay? Just give a shit about other people. Just be a good person. All right? With that being said, I love you mofos, and I'll talk at y'all next week. All right? Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.